The great Atomy battle for life, for the nation, and for the world. Hello, everyone. I am a senior sales master from Atomy Hong Kong. Just now, you heard that music. Can you guess what my previous job was? What do you think my job was? Right. When you watch those Hong Kong movies and hear, yes, sir, no, sir, that was my job. They were actors, but I was the real deal. After I graduated, my very first job was a Hong Kong Royal Police officer, okay? Why? Ever since I was little, I had a dream to become a good police officer. Why is that? Well, I was born in the 1960s, which was a pretty tough era in Hong Kong. My family wasn't very well off either. When I was just 1 year old, my father passed away in a traffic accident. So growing up, I was the only boy in the whole family. So I felt that I had to become a police officer. Only then could I protect my family and protect my mother. I worked extremely hard. After I joined the police force, I gave it my all. I devoted my life to being a police officer. The 1990s, you know, were the fastest-paced years in Hong Kong and Zhuhai. If you've seen the movies, you know, there were robberies and armed holdups almost every day. There was always some famous gang, you know, those pickpocket gangs. What was it called? Have you heard of Yip Kai Foon? Yip Kai Foon, have you heard of him? He always wore a mask. Back then, in Chiu Lung, even after he committed a robbery, he would go to the top of the biggest building in Kowloon and use his submachine gun. He fired 5 or 6 bursts, just opened fire. He shot and killed a woman, a local, right on the spot. So at that time, I happened to receive the report, and then I led a small team to confront him in a shootout. You know, he would scare people by firing his submachine gun. That's how he was. Boom, 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 boom. We were using 38 caliber pistols when we started. It was really quite intense, you know. This wasn't merely like making a movie. It was truly a matter of life and death. I really gave it my absolute all, truly worked incredibly hard. When I was just 24, I was promoted to sergeant, becoming the youngest sergeant in the entire department. I thought that was pretty good indeed. I felt that I genuinely liked this job, and I had achieved a certain commendable level, right? At that particular time, Hong Kong was just entering an economic... It was truly that era, you know, and I observed that many of my friends and classmates around me seemed to have achieved even more than I had. I thought, well, I was doing quite okay too. I was only 24 and already had my own career. But at a dinner one time with some relatives I grew up with since childhood, they were from a different generation, and they had managed to catch the wave and make money during that prosperous time. One of them asked me and said this to me. He said, well, so what's up with you? Are you still a police officer, still working as a cop? I said, yes, that's right. I just got promoted to sergeant this year. And then, you know what they said? They said, well, what's the difference between being a cop and being a security guard? You're just a security guard. I said, what kind of security guard am I? I'm a police officer. I'm a royal police officer. But after this happened, I went home and thought about it a lot for a long time. I started to wonder, is this really what my life is supposed to be? Just like this? I felt that I had more ability, that my potential wasn't just to be a civil servant, just to be a government worker. I could already see the end, see the ceiling. No matter how hard I worked, it would still be like this. So at that time, I made a big decision. I left the police force, and then I threw myself into an industry that was said to be full of opportunities and gold everywhere, which was the marketing industry. Okay, is this a comedy or what? Okay, but I had never worked in this industry before, so I was already behind at the starting line. I had no experience, so I worked really, really, really hard. At that time, I was working 7/24, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, non-stop, non-stop, non-stop. There was one time, because I was so sleep deprived and working late into the night, when I was driving home, I crashed, and in a flash, half of my car was gone. Half of it was already wrecked. I was so close to losing my life. I was really pushing myself, working desperately hard, but I did manage to achieve a little bit. Before I turned 30, I bought my very first Mercedes-Benz, and I also rented a villa. There was this... It actually wasn't that great. Other people thought it looked good, but that was just on the surface, because at that time, in that marketing industry, I had to secretly spend money to maintain certain positions. Plus, every month we had to stock up on inventory, which tied up a lot of money. On top of that, I had to buy all sorts of different textbooks, and the products themselves were also very expensive. The products were good, but they were really pricey. Most of my customers only bought from me once, maybe just to do me a favor. After that, the commission rate was extremely low because the product was just too expensive. So it was really hard to promote this business. We used to joke that making a sale was like ending a friendship. After someone bought from us once, they were scared of us and didn't want to answer our calls anymore. So that's how it was for me. Sigh, no problem. I kept working hard with my technical skills. I worked at the head office for 7 years, okay? After being in this industry and renting for 7 years, I started to feel things were getting better. Gradually, the situation improved, but then all of a sudden, the head office decided to change things, to change the system, to make a transformation. They changed a business model that was originally profitable, and after the change, it just couldn't work anymore. It wasn't just me, my whole team and all the partners under me were affected. Many of them had been following us all along, so we were facing a huge challenge. There was nothing I could do to change it because at that time, the company basically just saw us as tools. They used us to tap into a huge consumer market and build a large consumer base. But after that, we didn't have much value to them anymore. It was like they didn't want us to stay in the company. So there was nothing I could do. I couldn't change the company. So if the mountain won't move, I'll take another path. Fine, no problem. If you won't change, then I will. I left that company, took my team and my partners, and started my own company. I found a new product, entered a new platform, and handled everything myself, from pre-sales and after-sales to training, finance, and materials. I had to take care of it all on my own. It was really exhausting. It was really tough, and there was a lot of risk. I had to invest, and I also had to face all sorts of big and small problems. But it was fine. I just kept going, right? After all, I was young and I could still fight for it. When I reached the 5th year, the business started to pick up and things began to stabilize. When we finally started making a profit, I launched a major expansion plan. But before this plan could be implemented, I had already invested a lot of money into it. Then something happened that year, a crisis, a crisis. Because of that, in just half a year, our company was gone. It was all over. Everything was wiped out. All the money I had earned from more than 10 years of hard work just vanished overnight, like going back to square one. Everything was gone. So at that time, I thought, this can't go on. My child had just been born and was still very young, so I decided to go back to working for someone else. I started a new job, working at a foreign IT company. I started from the bottom and step by step, moved up from an entry-level position to product manager, then sales manager, and after more than 10 years of hard work, I became the marketing director. On the surface, it all looked great. Many people envied me. My annual salary was over $1 million, plus I had stock options and bonuses, all those perks. But the more I did this job, the more insecure I felt. I couldn't see a future because after working for more than 10 years, I was the most senior person in the whole department and had the highest salary. That's actually a very risky situation. The company can change things at any time, and if they do, I could lose my job just like that. If I lost my job, how would I get by? What about my future, my retirement, my pension? What would happen then? I was constantly worried about these things. When I was feeling quite lost, my wife and I, together with Candy, met a very important person in our lives, a benefactor, you could say. She is a close friend whom we've known for over 20 years, Teacher Fei Fei, who is here with us today. Let's give a round of applause for Teacher Fei Fei. Thank you, Teacher Fei Fei. Teacher Fei Fei spent more than 3 years from 2016 all the way to 2020, following up with us and coming to my house many times to see Atomy. At that time, I was just using the products and didn't really pay much attention to her or get involved. Back then, the first product I used was the toothpaste. I used it for several years. The products were really good and not expensive at all, but I felt like I didn't want to do it anymore. I was too tired. I didn't want to do this marketing. I didn't want to keep working at this job. But later, after things were explained clearly and Teacher Fei was really great and took me to understand everything about Atomy, I realized, hey, this is different. This company is actually really different from others in the same industry. We have such great products, and the prices I sell them for are really affordable, very low and accessible to everyone. I thought, this is definitely something worth doing. It hadn't launched yet. China hadn't launched. Hong Kong hadn't launched. I thought, hey, if I'm among the first group of people to develop this in Hong Kong, this could be huge. So I started to really think it through. And immediately, I started reaching out to people every day. So then it was Atomy, right? And then I just kept doing all sorts of things. We really got going. About half a year before Hong Kong officially launched, we began working hard. At that time, this was our very first not yet opened service center. Because of the pandemic, we couldn't hold gatherings. We couldn't meet outside, and we didn't have an office either. So back then, I used the small courtyard at my home. There's a little garden, and I turned my little garden into an office. Every day we would find partners, find friends to come over and tell them about Atomy. I would hold 3 or even 4 sessions a day, these presentations right in my home. Hundreds of people would come to my house, and my neighbors would ask, "Who exactly are you?" It's strange. Every day there are hundreds of people coming to your house to see you. If you were my neighbor, what would you think? But I didn't care. I just felt that for the sake of my partners, for the sake of the whole market and what was needed, I just had to keep giving it my all. Okay, that's how it was. And finally, we did it. We saw our first home, Hong Kong's very first service center. Our partners built it together, and at last, we had our own home. Okay, this is it. Every single day, I kept talking nonstop. Even at night, I was online reaching out. Whenever a partner wanted to talk about Atomy or bring friends to learn about Atomy, I would just charge forward. I never missed a single opportunity. You can see here, I talked so much that I didn't even have time to eat, and my mouth was dry. I ended up getting mumps from talking too much. I couldn't speak for a whole week. It was so painful. You know, even when I was sick and collapsed at the venue, I still had to hold meetings and keep going. I kept telling them how great Atomy is and that we have to keep persevering with Atomy. That's just how it is. We do our best, but there have been many challenges. It hasn't always been smooth sailing. In Hong Kong, too, it's been several years, and we've gone through so many different situations and problems, but I am truly grateful to have a group, a team of brothers and sisters, wonderful partners, our team. Really, they have been so supportive of me. No matter what happens, no matter the circumstances, they still choose to believe in me. Okay, today my team is here as well. So I'm really grateful to them for their support and trust in me. It took us just 1 year and 1 month to get promoted to senior marketing director. This here, you see, this isn't just any event. This is one of the dinners we held to celebrate our promotion. This is the greatest source of motivation in my life. My beloved. Why do I push myself so hard? Why do I work so tirelessly? Why do I strive for success? It's all for my dearest Candy, my beloved. She is my greatest motivation, truly. I feel that I am so willing to spend my whole life with her. I absolutely have to work hard and give her the best, the happiest life possible. I don't want her to worry. I don't want her to become a lovesick person. No, that's impossible. That will never happen. This is my biggest motivation, okay? Besides that, there are my brothers and sisters who will succeed me. This is my DP. 6 years ago, we were the first group to tell them about Atomy, and then even though they had to put their own jobs aside, they still chose to join us at Atomy. Now, I'm also very grateful. We have a senior sales master, and the others have all been promoted to sales master as well, which is amazing. They're here today too. Vanessa, Chris, Joey, and Angela are all present as well. Thank you all. Thank you for trusting me. Thank you so much for being willing to follow me and Candy and to work hard together with us. Okay, so Atomy really is like a ceiling. It's the highest you can go. In all my different jobs, when I was a civil servant, there was always a limit. But with Atomy, there is no limit. Everyone can meet at the top, everyone is treated fairly, and everyone can succeed. Atomy doesn't treat us as just tools. It truly loves our souls and genuinely wants the best for us. They do everything they can to help each of us succeed and to help our customers succeed as well. This is truly touching, okay? Also, there are no other risks. Traditional businesses are just too harsh. There are so many things you can't control on your own. But with Atomy, the chairman shoulders all the risks for us. The entire platform has already been set up perfectly, okay? And it's also that in the future, we can really feel at ease. I'm not just looking at the money in front of me. Right now, I'm working really hard, and everyone is working hard to build our Atomy business. What we're aiming for is a lifetime of income. And when one person succeeds, 3 generations don't have to worry about their future. That's the true appeal of the Atomy business. Do you all agree? So the hard work we're putting in today is truly worthwhile. I really believe that it's incredibly rare and precious to have encountered Atomy. It's the greatest fortune for us as a couple to be able to see and understand Atomy. That's really important. Okay, this animation, everyone knows it's very famous in China, and it's known worldwide as well. In this Ne Zha animation, there's a famous quote. So I think for a person, being born poor is not a problem. But if we remain poor, that's truly a tragedy. More importantly, we can't let poverty be passed down to the next generation. I can't let poverty be passed down to my whole family, to my entire clan, right? We should seize opportunities. I'm just an ordinary person, really. I'm a very ordinary person. I haven't practiced much, and honestly, I wasn't born with any advantages. But after I discovered Atomy, I gave it my all. It was very simple for me. I didn't overthink things. I just followed the successful system, followed our mentors, and led my team forward together. I believe Atomy can bring success to everyone. If I can succeed, you can succeed too. So truly, Atomy is something very special and different. In my whole life, with all the ups and downs and all the experiences I've had, I've never come across anything like this. I've never encountered a company like Atomy before. That's why after I found Atomy, I told my wife, this is my last job. This is my final choice. Atomy is my lifelong career. We set our goals and we are determined to achieve them. Imperial Master. I have to become an Imperial Master, because if I don't have this goal, if I don't have this dream, then my team and my partners won't have hope. I must have the courage, I must have the confidence to lead them, to lead all of us, our entire team, so that we can all go to Atomy together and succeed. Thank you, everyone.